Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. My name is Gina, and I believe that there's more to life than looking good, but you've got to look good too. Today is definitely a look good video because I'm going to be talking about some drugstore products, but it's kind of a feel good video too because who doesn't feel good saving money? So this idea for drugstore does it better was not mine. Originally, Jessica over at Jam Beauty, I believe, launched this video. And then I was also watching Cassie over at Shades of Cassie. I will link both of their channels below. I'm sure you already know about them, but just in case you don't. Then she did the video as well and referenced Jessica in her video as well. And something Cassie mentioned during her video made me go, oh my gosh, yes, I 100% agree. And that kind of made me go, hey, I think I want to do it too. So I have to admit I am kind of a makeup snob because as I was trying to put this video together, I realized that I really do have a preference. Not overall, like I don't want to say that overall I prefer higher end makeup, but as I look at each individual kind of category of makeup and each individual product, they tend to be on the high end side. I don't know why, because I'm also really cheap. So you would think I would want the drugstore, but I think there's definitely just an element of me trying to be super perfect and really wanting things to be just so. And I tend to favor stuff that costs more money. So that being said, the stuff that I'm about to talk about here today, to me then I really feel like really is where the drugstore is doing it better. Of course, it's just my opinion, but it might give you a little insight, give you a little inspiration, and it's just fun to make a list nonetheless. I love making lists. So this is my drugstore does it better list. So I have honestly no particular order. Most of it is makeup. I think I've got one skincare. So let's start with probably my favorite product at the drugstore that I have known has always been better at the drugstore, and that is, for some reason, mascara. Now, that doesn't mean I don't use high-end mascaras, because I do, and I love a handful of them, most especially the Dior Show Blackout Mascara. I probably rebought that like a million times. But, you know, honestly, drugstore mascaras are phenomenal. My favorite brand would probably be L'Oreal. You've heard me talk all the time about the telescopic lengthening mascara, although if you have patience and use this a couple of coats through, you can still volumize your lashes as well, although I tend to prefer to use this solely for lengthening. But that being said, I also love by CoverGirl the Supersizer mascara. I love by Maybelline the Falsies mascara. Nobody really talks about this one. I don't really know why, but I find the brush is very, like, it's kind of like random and crazy. Like it's not very even. Like it doesn't have clean lines to it, but I don't know, something about the brush combined with the Maybelline formula is really great. I also really love the Great Lash mascara. I think one of these is sold like every 0.2 seconds or something. You know, do I think this is a good mascara on its own? No. But if you know, like, for example, you're trying to get at, nobody out there probably does this as finicky as I do, but when I'm like lengthening my lashes, you know when there's like a lash that your brush just like won't hit for whatever reason? This one is phenomenal for going in and tracking down an individual lash in order to give it mascara. Oh my gosh, did I just say that out loud? That sounds totally high maintenance. But yes, drugstore mascaras, love them. When it comes to liquid eyeliner, I think nothing compares to the Physicians Formula 2-in-1 Eye Booster Lash Boosting Eyeliner Serum. Honestly, I use this as an eyeliner. It's a liquid eyeliner. It is a brush tip. So it is just like, it took me a while to decide if I wanted to really say this. It is just like the Kat Von D eyeliner. Which one is that? I think it's the Tattoo Liner. Yes, it is the Tattoo Liner. The one that is also a brush tip. They are very similar. Now, mind you, the Kat Von D one is twice as much money, but they are very similar. However, I find that the Physicians Formula liner is much more fluid. It glides just a hair easier. I think they're both, for all intents and purposes, equally as black. I don't really care that this is an eye boosting serum. I don't even know what it's boosting. Is it an eyelash boost? It doesn't even say eyelash. Oh, it does say lash boosting eyeliner serum. Yeah, okay. I don't think it does that, honestly. But like I said, it's about half the price of the Kat Von D. And I think hands down the Kat Von D one really is the best one. Let's say outside of the drugstore. You know, everybody talks about the Steeler one. I don't get that one. That one bleeds on me like crazy. Like it'll find like every little crevice and like travel so that it goes beyond like the line I'm trying to create. I don't know. If you love it, then more power to you, because that is a very popular eyeliner. But for some reason, I can't get that one to work for me. So this one, I will buy. I bought like many of these, and I think it absolutely is phenomenal. It's a thin enough line. Like I'm not going for a really thick line. I don't do winged liner. I'm so like over that. Actually, I was never into that, but I'm so over that as far as like winged eyeliner and stuff. And so just if you're looking for just like an awesome, easy to use liner to like kind of fill in the gaps between your lashes, give your eye a little bit of dimension, I live for that one. Okay, the thing that Cassie was talking about, which inspired me to kind of do this video myself, she was talking about lip liners. I have such a love-hate relationship with lip liners. I don't have a very even lip line to begin with. My lips aren't thin, but they're not very full. I don't like how lip liners like remain behind, like when you've got like the perimeter. I find that many of them are drying. Some of them are so dry, like you can't put them on. Clearly I have issue with lip liners. But what she mentioned, and which I agreed with, were the lip liners by L'Oreal, the Color Riche Matte lip liners. There's something about this form, and they're pretty cheap. They're like $10, but you can like buy one, get one, or get bucks back at CVS and such, which is where I typically tend to get them. I love these liners for a couple of reasons. They glide on really smooth, but they're dry enough so that they don't like disappear, but they're also really pigmented, and they give a little, like you can use them like strictly as like your lip color, and maybe add a balm or a gloss on top of it. So they're not 100% dry. Like I find a lot like the MAC lip liners, which I do like, they like suck the life out of my lips. And I love the Charlotte Tilbury one as well. I find that that one is a little too soft. Like I can't get it to line. Like it's just a little bit too crayon-y. Although, you know, Pillow Talk and, I forget the brownie one, but I've bought both of those more than once. But for something that's affordable, the ones by the Color Riche line of L'Oreal, they really are pretty phenomenal. Probably the only one that I would rival is the Sephora brand. They have a gel lip liner, but that one's about $12 or $13, and you can't get that actually in the drugstore. I have two shades. This is called Matte's It. And this is kind of a rosy mauve-y sort of shade. And remember, they're matte lip liners too, but they're like creamy mattes. They are kind of like a creamy matte, which is crazy. Anyway, so this is kind of like the mauve-y shade. And then the other one that I have is called Matting Call. You know, Matting Call. And this one is the one that's more like of a peachy brownie. Like a nudie brownie. It shows up light on my hand as I like kind of draw on my hand, but on my lips it shows up a little bit darker, which is fine because that means then it doesn't kind of white you out and you can kind of wear it alone. So those, I've like I said, I've tried some higher end ones and they don't do it for me. Like I'm not impressed, but those do it for me. Okay. I don't favor any drugstore foundations. I looked at my foundations that I use on a regular basis and even on different like problem days and stuff. And I am still just using, you know, foundations like from Sephora or Nordstrom or whatever. But when it comes to BB creams and stuff and lighter coverage foundations, I love the ones in the drugstore. My two favorites, one is by Garnier. It's their BB cream. It's got SPF 20 in it. This one happens to be for shine control, which honestly, I think, you know, even if you've got dry skin, if you're using a BB cream, it's maybe likely that it's in the summer. I don't think you would be displeased with this because maybe you'd be a little sweaty or warmer in the summer anyway. But this definitely mildly controls any oil production. The shades aren't that great. So if the shades work for you, it's like light medium or medium deep. But I buy both of them and I mix them together to actually custom make my own shade. Because honestly, when you like have like even 40 shades, I have found that there is still not a shade, like for a foundation, that there is still not a shade that matches me. So whatever, make your own. So that's kind of nice. No pressure, again, at the drugstore. The other one that I like is by CoverGirl, and it's the Clean Matte BB cream. I guess it's because I use BB creams when it's warm out. And I don't really want a full coverage foundation, like when I'm going outside, or even a medium coverage, like I'm going to be out in the sun all day. And so that's when I like to use BB creams. But then that also might be when, even though I don't have super oily skin anymore, those might be the days where I'll make it a little more oil. And so I kind of like the BB creams that kind of go after that as a problem issue. And I have been using both, well, I was going to say both for years. I've been using the Garnier one for years. And I've been using this one ever since it came out, which was probably the last year or so. And I have found that I enjoy nothing more that costs more money than those. When it comes to, I don't want to say setting powders, but when it comes to mattifying setting powders, or just really like a good setting powder, like if you don't have like super problem skin, the Stay Matte by Rimmel is still like hands down. It's like such a winner. Again, I don't even have super oily skin anymore, but it does just such a nice job of kind of setting your makeup without looking too cakey. And I think that's because it's meant to be a mattifier, so you can use this so lightly. Like, use the fluffiest brush on the planet, and if you use this to set your makeup, then you won't be putting on a lot of powder, but you'll accomplish setting your makeup. So I always went for the transparent, they call it transparent. I always went for the transparent shade, but it comes in a number of different shades as well. It's not a huge shade range, so if you go for transparent, ideally, or hopefully that would work for you. But I've been using that forever, regardless of whatever condition my skin is in. I have a blush, but I love all blushes. Like, I love all, like, prices. I've got some Marc Jacobs blushes, which are a little expensive, Hourglass blushes. What I specifically want to mention is a luminous blush, you know, kind of a shimmer blush. And although I think that the Hourglass, for example, I forget what they're called, but the Hourglass blushes which have their kind of iridescent kind of sheen to them as well, I think they're beautiful. They're very expensive. You can, and again, I'm specifically not talking about matte blushes because I don't think there's a comparison. I wouldn't say that the drugstore does it better when it comes to matte blushes, but when it comes to shimmer blushes, the one by Milani, the Luminoso, or actually any of them, there's a berry one and there's more of a brownier one. I happen to have Luminoso handy. I think that their shimmer blushes are just beautiful because it's not too much. I almost feel like Hourglass, for example, was trying really hard to say we are a reflective blush because we're so proud of our highlighters and our ambient lighting powders and stuff that I find that they're too much. Oh my gosh, and the Laura Geller Bake and Brighten blushes, I think is what they're called. They're a marbleized baked blush as well, and they are like, put highlighter on your face that isn't like a clear color. Like, put highlighter on your face that has a little bit of pink in it. That's what I feel like those blushes, that blush line is. But the Milani blushes, they're just like not matte with a little bit of shimmer. And it's not too much. And it's not chunky. And it's not glittery. I mean, YouTube has been talking about these particular blushes and this particular color, as a matter of fact, like forever. But I just want to call it out there and say that I think that, like I said, as a non-matte blush, I don't think anybody does it better than Milani does. They really did really well with that. Now, I have high-end brushes, and a few. Like, I've got a couple MAC. I've got some Sigma that I really like. I've got a couple Bobbi Brown. I'm interested in trying Tom Ford. But you know what? Honestly, none of that is necessary because any one of those brushes I could replace with one from the drugstore. And I grabbed like a whole bunch of brushes just to highlight kind of what's out there and what I like. First of all, I did a whole video. Wow, that must have been like a year ago. On the e.l.f. $1 concealer brush. e.l.f., right? Yeah, the e.l.f. $1 concealer brushes. I love these. These are multi-purpose. I'll actually link that video because there's like 5 different ways that you can use this brush. as a concealer, as an eyeliner, as a brow brush. I mean, like, you can just kind of keep it as a cleanup brush. Oh my God, it's phenomenal. I use this when I do my nails to kind of clean up my nails a little bit too. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. So that brush is only $1. Does not last you forever, so you might have to repurchase, but hello, it's $1, first of all. But the denseness and the tightness of the little brush on the top, oh my gosh, is phenomenal. Like, cannot get enough of that brush. I live for Morphe brushes. Now, I know they're not at the drugstore, but I just wanted to call them. Oh, no, they are, because you can get them at Ulta now, or you can order them online at Ulta. They don't have the entire line of brushes, but you can at least go to Morphe.com. Morphe stores are opening up all over the place, but they are definitely drugstore pricing. Some of my favorites is I like to use the E46 to apply my under eye concealer. I love using the M504. This is a big, fat, fluffy kind of crease above your crease brush. Like, I use this guy like right up in here to do a really nice light wash of color to kind of transition, kind of like a transition shade, but maybe not the only one. Sometimes I use 2 transition shades. I get a little complicated sometimes. The Morphe M441. This is an awesome blending brush as well, but maybe not quite as big as the M504. You can see that they are, there we go. You can see that one, the little 504 is a little bit bigger than the white one. I live for the M514 brush. This is the guy, he's dark. See, even though he was born white, this is the guy that I use on the outer corner, the outer V, the outer triangle, in order to apply my darkest shadows. Then I wipe them off and clean them up, and then I use them to blend that up into the crease. Very, very light. Did I just darken that eye too much? Very, very lightly. Love Morphe brushes. I love by Real Techniques. I got this guy right here, and I got their old school original right here. This is the buffing brush. Great for foundation. Love it. And then this was their fancy. This is the 103 brush. This is a big, fat, huge, fluffy brush. Oh my gosh. Makes me so happy to take a brush and just kind of apply it all over my face. You can use this. This would be a great brush for like kind of blending in post makeup application to make sure that you buff out any harsh lines or anything. This is a very weighty brush. This one is a little bit more expensive than some of the other ones, but it's a pretty brush too. And if you were buying this like in a department store, it'd be like major money. By e.l.f. also, I love their Ultimate Blending Brush. This is pretty similar to the Real Techniques brush. Great for foundation. Except the e.l.f. brush is just a little bit bigger as far as the size of the bristles on the top. But again, equally as phenomenal. And then finally, the Wet n Wild kind of vegan line that came out. This is the powder brush. None of them are labeled, but there's a powder brush and a blush brush and a contour brush and a fan brush. There's some eye brushes. They are ridiculously soft too. My main concern when it comes to brushes is that you don't poke me. I don't want to be poked. I don't want to be flinching when I'm doing my makeup. All of those are really great priced. And again, all at the drugstore. You can put together a phenomenal brush collection and not include anything sold at Sephora or, you know, like I said, department stores or whatever. So I really like, remember brushes back in the day from the drugstore? Like, you'd lose like 12 hairs on your face as you were, you know, kind of applying and doing your makeup because they just didn't have the quality. And so, I don't know. Here we go. My last thing is the only skincare item that I decided to call out. Here's my problem with skincare. Like, I use some anti-aging stuff from the drugstore, and I use some others from not the drugstore. When it comes to anti-aging, I'm not 80 years old yet, so I'm not really sure how they're going to work out. So I use what I feel comfortable with at the time, and I kind of balance it out financially and just kind of like preference-wise. So I didn't really want to call out any skincare necessarily at the drugstore, except when it comes to micellar water. There is no reason to pay any more than what you can find at Target or CVS or whatever. This is the simple micellar cleansing water, and then this one in the baby blue is the same thing, but it's the water boost. So it's got like a little bit extra for super dehydrated skin. These are phenomenal. I've tried the what is it? The Bioderma Sensibio something. Yeah, that thing burned me. That thing irritated my skin so much. Now, granted, that could have been just me. Maybe, and it's entirely possible. But I use these, and I don't see any reason to spend any more than these guys. These guys, you know, I've had very problematic skin, and for the fact that these guys will clean my skin, not overly dry me out, and not irritate me, cause me to break out, or turn my face red, or any of that stuff, that just leads me to say, hey, you are pretty phenomenal, and you don't cost a ton. So that's what I got for you. The Drugstore does it better as far as these particular products. Thank you for spending your time with me. Like I said, I will link Jessica and Cassie's channels down below. Definitely go check them out. And if you do, tell them I sent you and said hi. They're going to be like, who's Gina? But they should at least know that someone's talking about them behind their back. If you're not one of my subscribers to the G Crew, I invite you to be. And if you already are, thank you again for all your support. I am on Instagram and Twitter. Definitely check me out over there if you have a minute. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I put videos up, since like I said all the time, I'm a tiny channel. YouTube isn't going to let you know. So if you're curious, whatever it is I've got to say, definitely hit that bell. Please leave me a comment down below. What is your Drugstore Does It Better product? What do you love most coming from the Drugstore? It'll make you think. Or maybe not. Maybe you know hands down automatically. So I'm definitely curious. Leave me a comment down below. Again, as always, thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you have a good rest of the day. I will see you next time. In the meantime, thanks.